Hello and welcome to my first video of this series. In this series I will document how a project was made, what difficulties I had and how I solved them, similar to the game devlogs, just more in depth. These videos will get technical, so some of you will have a hard time of understanding certain things, but I hope it will be enjoyable nonetheless. If you're just interested in certain parts of the video, feel free to skip to the corresponding chapter on the video timeline. But now to what I made. Since I started playing Minecraft, I always enjoyed fighting with the bow, and there was always that feeling when you shot a randomly aimed arrow somewhere and it hit and killed someone. The problem with these kinds of shots was that they were extremely rare, so I decided to make a mod that would allow me to line shots like that up more easily. I'll just show you what the mod does. I have two gold blocks right there and right there, and normally you wouldn't be able to shoot at them because, like, how would you line a shot like that up? Maybe like that, maybe like that, yeah, something like this. But imagine you wouldn't know the exact block. You would just stand here, like right here behind this tree, and you wouldn't see this block. So what you can do now is just press F or any button you have set up in the mod options right here. When you press this button, Freecam will be enabled. You can go into blocks, you can fly, you can basically go everywhere, but you can't interact with entities, other players, or if you place blocks or something, it will be only client side, so yeah, don't bother trying. But now what I can do is fly over here and right click this block. The client will know that, but the server won't, so you won't be banned. But now the client or the mod found you an angle. If you now shoot some arrows fully charged, that's important, at this block, they will hit exactly or close to it. The thing is, Minecraft always adds some randomness to the arrows. I can try it again, maybe we'll get a better result. Let's try it. So now I shot once, twice, shot 3 times, and none of them hit exactly. But that's not the problem. That's not a problem with my mod. That's just Minecraft. Minecraft adds randomness to the shots. I can show you how this would work. So I right click this block, I shoot a fully charged arrow, so now shoot, yeah, as you see it's really close, it's like one block off. It hits exactly sometimes, but as I said, it's random, so yeah, can't do anything about it. I started off by understanding how arrows fly and how to calculate the landing spot. For that I took a look at the trajectory visualizers of Liquid Bounce, Worst, and this plugin. They really helped me to understand how I could make my own plugin that prints out the landing position of an arrow based on the player's yaw and pitch values. Yaw is the horizontal orientation of the player, and it goes from -180 to 180 in 01 steps. And the pitch is the vertical alignment of the player, and it goes from -90 to 90. So I made a plugin that gives you the landing location of an arrow. You don't actually have to shoot an arrow, it just calculates everything. This part is for calculation, this part, and this part right here. After it calculated everything, it adds a vector to this vector list, and if this whole while loop is done, it goes through the vector list and adds a vector to the player location. And if the player location is not air, in this case, it will just break from this loop, and it will print out the player location. ToString is just because broadcast message just supports strings, so yeah, that's basically how this plugin works. At first, I didn't even know how to start. I didn't know how it works and what it does to Minecraft, not even talking about how to implement it in Forge. The only prior coding experience for Minecraft I had was making plugins for me and my friends. But after watching some tutorials, I noticed that it wasn't even that different. They even work by the same principle. Events. Events handle everything. If you break a block, an event is triggered. If you right-click, an event is triggered. You get the point. So if you want to add a custom behavior, you have to have an event that's triggering it. So I made an easier example. Triggers when an entity shoots a bow. The function name right here, you can call it whatever you want to. This is important. Don't forget the event handler, and don't forget to initialize the event handler in your main class. The main class is this class which extends the Java plugin, and in this case, if an entity shoots a bow, the server is going to broadcast a message saying arrow shot. So let's try it out. Let's go right here. To go on export when the server is already running, of course. Go right here, finish, replace, because I changed something. Now we have to go into the console, type in reload complete. And now, every time I shoot a bow, it's going to say arrow shot, no matter how, with what power I shot, it's just going to say arrow shot, and that's how events work. For my feature, I wanted the player to have the ability to go into Freecam mode when a certain button is pressed. I wanted the button to be changeable in Minecraft controls menu, so I found this German tutorial that was really helpful. So, now we are in Forge, in our main class, and if you want to make a new key binding in the vanilla list, you have to create a new key binding with the description projectile or whatever you want to. I just called the ProjectileAimer toggle. This is the key. You have to use keyboard.key whatever. As you see, it's .key whatever you like. Everything is here. I just use key F as default. You can use whatever you want to. And then the category name. If you have done that, you have to initialize or register the key binding with client registry dot register key binding and then key binding. After that, I would create a class called key handler. In this class, we have to check if our key binding is pressed, and if it's pressed, we can do things. After that was done, I had a possible trigger point for Freecam, but I still had no clue how to implement Freecam. So I took at Liquid Bounce again. Its cheats are written in Kotlin, but that's not a problem because it's pretty easy to understand, and after a short while I had a not working version of Freecam. Turns out, Freecam cancels every player packet to the server, so you don't update your position, and so that the server doesn't think you want to fly and bans you. To intercept traffic, I of course thought of a proxy, but after some research, I stumbled across something that's called a channel pipeline. It looked really good and did exactly what I wanted, but I just couldn't get it right. So I searched Google for answers and found this GitHub repo that actually does exactly that what I want. So I implemented it, changed it so it filters the player packets, and it worked. To know when Freecam was triggered, I just added the boolean to my main class and just set it to true or false whenever Freecam was activated or deactivated. Freecam done. Now I just had to get the yaw and pitch for the block. This turned out to be not that easy. First I wanted to get the yaw, but I came up with some pretty stupid ideas, like writing every possible yaw value into a file with the block it hit and then somehow calculating something off it. But of course, it failed. The next day it hit me. I could just use simple trigonometry. Let me explain. So, here's what I found out. Imagine this being a Minecraft world from top down. We stand right in the middle, right here. And this is the block we want to shoot at. Forget the Y coordinate, it's not important right now. So, we have a block P, which is at x5, z7, and we are at 0, 0. So, we can theoretically draw a triangle here. And now we see there's an angle. Say angle alpha. To calculate this angle alpha, we would need to know this side right here and this side right here, which is possible. It's pretty simple. It's delta x equals our x minus the point, also the block x, and delta z, which is right here, equals 0 minus 7. So this is -5, this is -7. Now, to calculate the alpha angle, we have to use the arctangents, or however you say that, of these values. So that would be delta should I'm drawing with my mouse, so it's not that easy. And this would be alpha. And exactly the same, I did the exact same thing in code. This is, write this here. No, sorry. It's this here. It's the arctangents of delta x and delta z, and math dot 2 degrees, pretty self-explanatory. And this is how we calculate the yaw. And there are the other ones for the other points are special, or they are different, because sometimes this value is positive and this is negative. Sometimes this is negative and this is positive. Sometimes both are positive and sometimes both are negative. So this is why we have 4 if cases here. As you can see, smaller equals 0, smaller equals 0, bigger equals 0, smaller equals 0, etc. So this is how you calculate the yaw angle. For the pitch, I knew exactly what I was doing. I already had a program that gives me the landing position of an arrow based on the player's yaw and pitch. I could use this program to basically brute force all possible pitch values and see which one hits the marked block. Yaw and pitch, done.